Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. I'm Jeff Thie. We're coming to you from the Iowa Lakes Corridor Development here in Spencer, Iowa. The CEO, Kiley Miller, is here with us today, and he's been a busy boy. I ran into him the other day and asked him how he's doing. He said, man, we've been busy. So I wanted to find out more about it, Kiley, and you just completed a four-year plan?
That's correct.
Let's talk about that.
Sure. So that's, as you said, we just completed a four-year plan of work that took us from fiscal year 2017 through fiscal year 2020. And, you know, we've got the results in, and they're really very strong. Now, I always want to emphasize the corridor is just part of a larger team, right?
Right.
So our results are not really our results; they're everybody's results. But that being said, when we add up the numbers on our business development, so that includes business recruitment, retention stuff. There were more than 40 completed projects in there, more than 540 jobs in there, and more than $540 million in capital investment.
Wow, wow. So when you started this four-year plan, did you see needs out there that we can be stronger in these areas in Northwest Iowa throughout the four counties of the corridor?
Well, absolutely. Just one example of that is the housing issue, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And when we look at the totals for the projects the corridor worked on in the in housing, there were more than 180 new units constructed in the corridor with the projects we were involved in.
Right.
Many more than that were constructed, obviously.
Right.
Now, that's not enough. Right? But yeah, there's an example where business and industry told us this is an issue.
Yeah.
And we want to move into that realm and help out. So yes, specifically, what we really value though is having professionalized economic development services in the region that support businesses of all shapes and sizes. So when I talk about 41 projects done in the corridor, that's everything from helping a manufacturer that just needs temporary warehousing,
right,
all the way up to helping our region's largest employer spend quite a bit of money building a new facility.
Yeah, and you know, recruitment into this area, you know, you think about Iowa, and sometimes people think of Iowa, well, it's an aging state, you know, that bringing young people, young families into our schools, into our businesses, being employees, that I know that's a target for, you know, recruitment into this area. We need that young strength.
Well, you're absolutely right. And, you know, ultimately that is the chicken and egg thing that economic development is, right? Yeah. You got to have the jobs to bring in the people, but you got to have the people to bring in the jobs. and there's no win, right? They're both true. And so we just whittle at the edges, right? Yeah. You know, we know that there's jobs available, so we want to make sure there's housing to sustain those new workers. But we want to continually fill new jobs to attract new people, to be an enticing place to live and to work. So we've had success. When you look at the business attraction, we had projects like Safeco, Pivot Point, Spencer, Hyper Ceramics. We could go on down the list.
Right.
Each time we do that, though, we have to answer the question of where the workers are coming from. Hence the fact that we developed our Get a Lakes Life platform to really brand the region as a destination for jobs.
Yes, indeed. And of course, you know, we're aided by the fact that we do have great Iowa Lakes Community College here regionally. And, you know, I always like to point out that a huge percentage of those graduates do like to stay local.
Well, that's absolutely true. What we're really blessed by is we have Iowa Lakes locally, and therefore
I've noticed them. I've seen them out there.
And therefore we have Iowa Lakes Community College, and you're absolutely right. We have a great offering for education from top to bottom, right? There's not a public school in the four counties that you wouldn't be happy to have your kids attend.
That's right. And
then they have the community college opportunity, they have Buena Vista University opportunity. You know, for those folks that want to go to a four-year, that's more of a university setting. We've got SDSU and Iowa State. This is a good place if you want to get educated, right? We feel the same way about healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, each one of our counties has a great healthcare institution in place. So the amenities, we don't ever really feel like we're short on amenities.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can sit back and rest on your laurels, right? For instance, you know, our team has really been working hard to see about how we can get some commercial air service in the area. This is an issue of concern for folks.
It is.
And so, you know, we're consistently trying to develop those amenities, but nonetheless, we're pretty proud of what we got.
Yeah, and when you build those building blocks, you know, you bring in employers, and the more the needs for in airspace, you know, you're hoping if they build it,
they will
come.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So, and I know that you guys work so hard, Brian Dalzell, with entrepreneurship. And let's face it, entrepreneurship is the backbone of our republic, our democracy, and certainly a backbone of the corridor.
Well, there's no question. I mean, you're right. Small business starts, that is what drives our economy. That's the free market, our animal instincts. We are blessed to be in Northwest Iowa, which is more entrepreneurial. Yeah. I don't know the why of that, you know, but it is true. And there's just such an entrepreneurial energy here. And so that's why the corridor, unlike most smaller economic development organizations, really invests heavily in a professional support to support those entrepreneurs. And you mentioned Brian Dalzell, that is that professional, our senior vice president. And when we look back over the past 4 years, Brian had more than 100 new clients. Those clients started 37 new businesses and created 212 jobs. And so Brian's now been here for 10 years, and I'm very pleased to say that in May of this year, he helped start the 100th business that he'd helped start in the corridor.
Yeah.
You know, and if you add those up, that is multiple new factories, right?
Yeah.
We all get excited about the ribbon cutting, but it's those small businesses that start and scale that really drive the economy.
Yeah, and I know Brian's work through, you know, working with these entrepreneurs of, you know, getting them a head start, giving them a heads up on here's some obstacles you may run into down the line, and it enables them, it gives them the tools they need to be successful. And any startup, those first couple of years can be tough.
Well, absolutely. The success rate's low.
Yeah.
Not for us, interestingly enough. In this region, thanks to the professional services, we have great success. And I want to say it's not just the corridor. We've got Michael Wampler from the Small Business Development Center. We've got Iowa Lakes Community College. And then ultimately, what I love about the entrepreneurial community here is those men and women who have been successful will line up to help.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they will really line up to help. You know, it's interesting. We've got good banks. Really, we've got what you need if you're trying to start a business, and that's. I think that's why, you know, it self-perpetuates, doesn't it?
Yep.
Folks come here and they're like, oh, I fit in. I can find the resources that I need. The growth. We were just with a company just the other day, a growth company that's kind of looking at our area a little bit, and what was neat was within their industry sector, we could introduce them to a dozen men and women that had experience. Yeah. You know, and so that suddenly they feel like they're part of a community, they feel comfortable, confident, they know who to call, and we're ahead of other communities that can't offer those services.
Yeah, I mean, it's very enticing to someone from the outside looking in to look what they have in Northwest Iowa.
Absolutely.
How fortunate are they? So anything else at the completion of this 4-year plan that you're finding as you move into your next plan?
Well, that's a great question, isn't it? We don't get to just stop. I mean, I kind of sit back and go, oh, that was nice, for about 7 minutes.
Yeah, 4 years, I guess we kind of handled it there. No, there's always looking ahead.
There is. So we're going to a 5-year plan now. Yeah. And what we did is we went out and with a third party and we interviewed our investors and asked them, we call our members investors because really what we're asking them to do is invest in the growth of the region, right? And we try and demonstrate a return on an investment for them. But anyway, we asked them, how are we doing? And, you know, the responses were really good. 93% rated our staff at the highest possible level. 79% put our programs at the highest possible level. But they didn't say, great job. What they said is, these are the things we'd like to see. So you mentioned one earlier, workforce. Right. Yep. You know, that is the lid. We can employ people who are ready to go to work. Yeah. And so, you know, that was how do we bring in more people? And then entrepreneurship, never give up on that. That was other thing that came to the forefront. But we heard these other two things. One, more business recruitment. You know, candidly, as we were talking the chicken and egg thing, we hadn't spent heavily on recruiting new businesses in. We were very successful when an opportunity came to us. Sure. But we were pretty passive about getting the opportunities, right? Right. Well, what are we going to, so we've identified some target industries. That's metals fabrication, plastics molding, food and ag processing, and then kind of a catch-all that's technology. Right. We're going to invest to recruit businesses in those sectors. And then the fourth thing we heard was, hey, this is an ag region. Ag is changing. That's going to create opportunity. How do we take advantage of that? Well, that's a new field for the corridor. We don't do a lot in ag. So we're taking a patient approach, trying to figure out where we can add value in the ag sector and ag businesses without duplicating all the great services that are already in place.
Right.
So there you have it. Those, we'll always focus first and foremost on helping existing businesses,
right,
but we will be working on recruiting new people, entrepreneurship, business attraction, and that ag sector.
Well, we're always looking at building and strengthening this area, and quite frankly, we're very fortunate that we have the strength that we do. And I remember something you've had on your website in years past, and it was part of recruitment for people living in Chicago, living in New York, when they look at not only pay, but education opportunities, the price of gas. I mean, all these things that, I'm living in New York, I'm making $100,000 a year, I'm spending $104,000 on where I'm living,
Yep.
And when you look at what we have here for opportunity for employment, for the price of living, we've got a lot to offer.
Well, it's really interesting. I never like to talk negatively about anywhere else,
Right.
But it is worth noting, if you've seen, the prices of homes in San Francisco have started to fall for the first time in a long time post COVID-19, because you know what people realized? They don't have to live there.
Right.
They don't have to pay $300,000 for a one bedroom,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And they can do things elsewhere. And the statistics show us that a lot of those people, they're not going to, the urban population, most of them aren't going to relocate to very rural. But there is 7% of the population right now that said that they would like to live rural if they can find the job opportunities and the quality of life. That's who we're competing for.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
We're not competing against Chicago. We're competing against rural South Dakota. We're competing against rural Nebraska for that sector of the population that really does want a rural life.
Yeah.
A safer, slower pace. And we can win that because we have the jobs, we have the quality of life amenities, and candidly, people are pretty open. They're welcoming.
Yeah, and we also get a lot of our kids that go off, maybe they go off to college somewhere, try something somewhere else. I've got two of them myself that, you know what, I love living in that area.
Yeah.
I want to raise my kids where it's safe and the schools are good and jobs are plentiful. We've got a lot of stuff going for us, Kiley.
Well, I heard a story the other day about a gentleman that's here. He had what I would consider a dream job, a literal dream job in Florida. And he's back because, when it came time to raise his kids, we learn pretty quickly, don't we, that jobs are just jobs. Yeah. We need them, we love them, but it's really about family and friends,
Yeah.
and quality of life. And that individual, at the point that it's time to bring the kids home, you bring the kids home.
Indeed it is. Well, Kiley Miller, if people have questions on the corridor, and you've got so many things, I'm glad you're looking to our future. We need to get people together to look at our future. Where are we going? Where can we go? Not only where are we going, where can we go? And how do we make that happen? I thank the corridor for all the hard work that you do, and your great staff here. But if people have questions, they'd like to find out more, what's the best way to find that out?
Well, just give us a call, 712-264-3474, or you can email me, kmiller@lakescorridor.com. And Jeff, to your point, we want to hear from folks, where should we be going? And I'm not talking about the corridor, I'm talking about the region as a whole. What are our opportunities? We've got to be strategic if we want to win.
That's right. 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever it is, 50-year plan.
Absolutely.
We've all got places to go, and we know we can get there together. Kiley Miller, thank you for taking time with me.
It's been a pleasure, buddy. Thank you so much.
My pleasure indeed, too. Kiley Miller here from the Iowa Lakes Corridor Development Corporation. We thank him for being here with us and all that the corridor does for our wonderful region. We thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee is brought to you in part by the headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday noon to 4. Last Touch Painting and Cleaning, providing interior, exterior, and house painting and professional cleaning services in Spirit Lake. Okoboji Mattress Company, 1 mile west of the junction of Highway 9 and 71 in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. and Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner, Brand's Law Office in Spirit Lake. Ruthven Locker, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio, newly located in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji. And by Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, advisors Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz.